two.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our third in a series of 3 webinars. I'm in the process of making a gin and tonic, specifically using Bombay gin, because today we're going to go visit the Bombay distillery. So it is noon here. I generally don't drink at lunch, but you know, today I guess is a little different. So that's going to be fun. I do want to say a couple of things. I actually wrote them out because I wanted to just remember what I was going to say. So over the next few days, we're going to be sending out a questionnaire to everyone who's attended and registered, asking about things that you've seen over the last 3 webinars. And if you answer them correctly, you'll be entered to win into this great trip for 2 along the route, six nights. Everything will be included in all the things that we've seen. You'll get to go to the Bombay distillery. You'll see some of the beautiful stately homes that we've taken you guys on. So it's a beautiful, beautiful trip away. So be sure to keep an eye out for an email with the questionnaires. And you'll have about a week to complete the questionnaire before we pick the winner. So that's the first thing. Second thing I want to say is I just want to take a moment to thank everybody who's made these 3 webinars possible, particularly to Flo Walsh. She's just been spectacular. We could never have done this without Flo. It's been great working with her. And you're going to see other webinars over the next year, the next months, focused on other parts of England. So just keep an eye out. We'll keep you informed. I also want to thank everybody who's attended these. This is I believe our 83rd webinar, and it started back in July of 2020, which to me seems like a lifetime ago. And I can see lots of friends that have attended almost all the webinars. I think some of the folks here have actually been on all of our webinars. And that for those of you that don't know us, Johnny and I are partners in this tour operation called GT Experiences. Our focus, we're located in New Jersey, and we service the travel advisor community throughout the United States. Our focus is really creating itineraries through most of Europe, and we've been pleased in this last 3 weeks to take you guys along just what we think is a terrific journey along the Great West Way. Flo, let me introduce you to Flo. Hey there.
Hi, how are you doing?
Well, I hope everybody else is doing really well. So Flo, this part of our trip is going to be a little different from the last 3. Actually, I'm going to open up my gin, my tonic, so that
We haven't got there yet. We've got a little way to go. We've got a few supplies to get through before that.
Can't I? Do I have to wait?
You don't have to wait.
Okay.
I've got mine too. There you go. I don't know if you can see that.
That's good.
Got my Bombay Sapphire.
Thank you. That's good to know. So, Johnny, do you want to start? Do you want to start the webinar?
Sure, absolutely, yes. Okay, there you go.
So, Flo, is there anything that you want to add here? What's the next?
Well, I've just seen that somebody has just joined this webinar without seeing the other 2. So maybe I should just give everybody a bit of an overview. The Great West Way is one of the world's premier touring routes between London and Bristol. We were originally successful as a Discover England Fund project, and we did get an element of funding from Visit England back in 2018. So this touring route was launched back then, and we have been working with the trade now for a number of years, and we're delighted to bring you a really extensive touring route with over 250 ambassadors, 100 official tour operators that we're working with, and we're delighted to have a selection of suppliers here today that can tell you all about their places to visit, things to do, and places to stay.
That's great. Yeah, we always try to mix it up with different things. Sorry, guys, I'm just inserting my lime into my drink. Very key ingredient. So cheers, everybody. Let's start our journey. Johnny, you're on.
Yep. Okay, I believe that, hold on one second, let me check one more thing, because I want to be sure that you have the sound, that everything is perfect. Okay, so here we are.
Okay, next slide.
Yep.
Let's play this video, Johnny. Tells you a bit about us.
Thanks for that. I just want to let everybody know how easy it is to get onto the Great West Way. Flights from London, it's the beginning of the Great West Way as it works its way west.
Or you could fly into, sorry, I'm just going to interrupt you there, Tom, because I've got another option for anyone traveling from the US. There is another good way of getting to the route, and that is to fly into Bristol via Dublin. It's often a quicker way there is obviously a stop in Dublin, but it's another route in from the States. So you could actually come that way and then travel east, or go via Heathrow and travel west. So it doesn't matter which way you do it. It's very well connected is the key.
And it's not really about just a quick arrival and departure. It's really about creating a journey from one end of the route to the other.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a multimodal route. So we're trying to encourage people to travel on the waterways, on walking and cycling, and on the rail network as well. So it's not just about using cars and traveling by road. There are many other options, and that's what we try and highlight through all our material and things we provide for people, all our resources.
So Flo, I guess we can start now. Johnny, we can start with our first presentation of
Well,
along the
if you
route.
click onto the next slide, Johnny. Yeah, there we go. I mentioned the multimodal bit here. We've got a Great West Way Discoverer Pass. So this is an integrated rail and bus pass that can be used within the route, the west and the east and the central across the route as well. It's a very, very good value pass for international visitors. So do have a look at that.
Great.
And then what we'll go on to the Savouring Bath is our first supplier, and we've got a little video that we'll show you. So let's move straight on to that, Gianni.
Hi, everybody. So you've gotten an idea now of the beginning of this webinar that we've done. And now we're going to introduce you to a fellow that we know up in Bath, Mike James. Mike runs a company, an organization called Savouring Bath. And
What's really funny about
food for me is
all these
really
webinars, they act like you're not working and you
what
don't have
Mike does goes right to my heart. So let me
I
introduce
was like,
you to Mike.
what is wrong with you people?
Welcome, Mike. Johnny, can you pause for a
If I
second?
sit and listen to it, but then you're gonna send me a questionnaire, there's
John, can you
questions
just pause
on
for a
it,
second?
and I'm supposed to be
Someone
answering
is
questions
on, is not on mute.
prior to you people,
So if we could just mute everybody, Johnny?
Yeah, I'm trying to see
based on
who
the
is,
presentation that you made, but I was listening to it in the background because I was trying to do work and answer phones at work, so I'm lost. Put it at times where I'm at work. Help me out.
Okay, this is not,
I cannot,
okay,
see who is on.
I think we've got it.
And I wanted this one because they're doing
Yeah.
Bristol, England.
Okay,
And I'm like, oh, I got
I
pictures
think
from
I
there
know who
because
it is.
Ariana was there in school. I'm like, yeah. I don't really know.
Sorry,
how
everybody.
about Bristol.
We always have these,
Because I was only there for 2 days.
so we always have
But
someone.
I loved it. I was like, my eyeglass frames come from Bristol.
Hold on a second.
And you're like, well, you did get some shopping in there, huh? Yes, I did, ma'am.
Okay. You know, that's the beauty of doing this live.
I cannot,
Which class are you in? Business. BS.
Okay, let's see.
I cannot mute it. I cannot mute because I don't see who is.
Hey, how was your dinner?
I believe I know who it is. It's,
Where'd you guys go?
Who?
I will tell you in a
Where's that?
second. It is,
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
It's good. Everyone was just tired. And
hold on one sec.
So much energy. I stayed till like 10 and let my sister let my nephew.
Sorry, everybody.
Then I took him home. It's be a long week.
Are you babysitting?
I hope they're babysitting, but hang on one sec.
Okay, I did it. Can you please reopen your microphone, please? Reopen all your the microphone, the speakers, please.
Sorry about that.
Okay, we go.
Let's start again.
Bath, we operate walking tours of our UNESCO World Heritage City, which include visits to artisan food and drink creators for samples of their tasty products. Every client gets to sample a range of handcrafted food and drink, and they'll hear stories from the makers and also from our friendly local guides. You'll use all the essences to experience the city from a non-traditional perspective and make personal connections with locals. Our tours run Tuesday to Saturday, each lasting 3 hours. There's a maximum of 6 people per guide on Saturdays and up to 10 on weekdays, so the tours stay nice and intimate. We offer free sale access to booking our range of weekly tours, and for more discerning travellers, our bespoke private tours can cater for food and drink preferences and special dietary requirements. You can take a look at savoringbath.com for more information, or of course book through Tom and GT Experiences, and we look forward to welcoming you and your clients for our unique sensory experiences of our beautiful World Heritage City.
Thanks, Mike. Lovely picture behind you.
Thank you.
It's an iconic Bath image.
Yeah, that's the Royal Crescent, which is one of the picture postcard places in the city.
I have a couple of questions with regard to what you do. So I love cheese. You know, cheese loves me. And so the question is always, you know, it's like, okay, talk a little bit about British cheeses.
So we showcase only British products on our tours, and largely they're products that have been made locally. And the Southwest is a major destination for cheeses because we've got so many cheese makers locally based. I actually am qualified in the cheese industry, and I work occasionally as a cheesemonger selling cheese in a shop, and I also work for a cheese maker. So I occasionally offer product-specific themed tours as well. And we can take people out of Bath to some of the farms where the cheese is made, and you'll get to meet the farmers and the dairymen and the people making the cheeses too. But I love cheese too, Tom. It's one of my favorite products.
One of these days, you're going to have to give me a lesson on how to wrap the cheese after I eat it. There's nothing that I like more than going into a cheesemonger and buying a selection of cheeses, and they come home wrapped so beautifully, and I can never recreate that as much as I've tried. Another question I have is like, what from your perspective, what do you think is the image that Americans have of Bath that might be wrong or might be right?
I think Bath is very synonymous with, well, two things really. Jane Austen is a big deal here. Jane spent a lot of time in Bath, and her 6 novels all mention the city, 2 of which are partly set here. So we have a big Jane Austen festival every year. And I think there is this idea that we all walk around dressed as somebody from a Jane Austen novel all the time, which is not true. People from Bath look like this or similar. But also our Georgian architecture is really iconic in the city. But we don't all live in Georgian buildings. You know, not all of us can maintain a 300-year-old property, but the architecture is really iconic, and it does dominate the skyline throughout the city, and it makes the city look incredible.
And from a food perspective, how do you, like, what's changed over the last 10 or 20 years when it comes to?
Well, that's a big deal for us, and we wouldn't be here if there hadn't been those changes, because 20 years ago, there were no independents the way there are now. So many businesses in Bath and across the UK are independently owned and managed. 20 years ago, you might have, say, a coffee shop or a bakery, for example, and on the next corner would be another bakery or another coffee shop of the same chain. Now we don't get much of that, if any, at all. And all those bakeries and all those coffee shops are independently owned, and everybody who owns them is very passionate about their product and really keen to showcase their unique approach to that product.
That's so great, because it's such a misconception, I guess an old time idea that, you know, food in the UK is not what you go for, but the whole culture has changed so tremendously.
Yeah, we're not all about fish and chips anymore, I'm afraid. We do have great fish and chips, but
I was going to say,
you know, we're giving the French a run for their money when it comes to cheese making now, for example, and there's some big British cheeses that are catching a lot of attention. But the same goes for things like coffee, roasting and retailing. We have a really, really strong coffee scene. We have a lot of artisan bread bakers. We have some amazing pastry makers in the city. And we've got restaurants that just will blow your mind. We've got we've got an incredible small plates scene in the city. So it's like British version of tapas, if you like. And there's some amazing restaurants doing different things with small plates here, and it's not.
Yeah, Bath has just exploded when it comes to eating, and great restaurants. And there's recently I was in Bath and I had just a spectacular meal. So from a food perspective, it's just wonderful. Earlier we were also talking about that you have a gin experience that you can incorporate into.
Yeah, we offer a gin tasting masterclass. They last about an hour, and we work very closely with a very small batch gin distiller. And the lady who owns that business and runs it entirely single-handedly, pretty much, she is also trained in Western herbal medicine. So she is licensed and registered to dispense her herbal elixirs made from her gin for medicinal use. And we cover all of that in the gin tasting experience.
That's just terrific. So and one last question is, it's always, with food, like, what are some of the funniest questions that people have asked you when it comes to food?
We get all sorts of really unusual special dietary requests. And of course, to come on a food tour, it's really best to have a broad palate and a culinary sense of adventure. But we've had some really interesting stuff. My favorite one was probably, I can't eat anything that's green. But we've had other bizarre things as well, like I can't eat raw uncooked chicken or food that's touching something. So yeah, I mean, they might be unusual to us, but in the end we have to take all these things very seriously and be delicate about how we deal with them, and we do try to accommodate everybody's needs as best we can.
That's great. So I thanks for making the time. I really look forward to sending people to Bath and having you bring them around and get to experience something that maybe is a bit different than what they've come to expect. So thanks a lot, Mike.
Thanks for having me. Thank you very much.
Flo, do you have anything that you might have to?
No, only that it's really, Bath is a really important part of the Great West Way, which covers the London to Bristol, and obviously sits on the west end of the route. But no, and I think some of the surrounding areas of Bath, which you can also see the architecture, the Georgian architecture, places like Bradford on Avon and the surrounding areas are also very good for food and drink and places to visit, etc. So explore the area and sort of, you don't have to stay in one place. There's plenty either side of it, isn't there?
Yeah, and another good thing is Bath is so strategically located that you can use it as a hub and spoke to explore the area, which is really great, and easy to get to London. From London to Bath is the train service is just terrific. So thanks again.
Thank you.
So now we're moving on to our next presentation. We have Roy here. So you want to start? We can start with a conversation with Roy, or we can start straight off with the video.
Whatever you prefer, let me know.
Why don't we start with the video, and then then Roy will join in.
Hello, it's Roy Hayward from the British Tea Rooms in Bradford and Avon. I'm just going to give you a little talk on the tea rooms and what we can offer to the American market in the way of afternoon teas. Thank you. We offer a nice range of afternoon teas which are really fantastic for group bookings. So we can offer anything from the bridge cream tea, a nice savoury afternoon tea, which we occasionally get asked for, but more importantly, the Empress of India, the Prince Albert, and also the full afternoon tea, which we actually call the Empire High Tea. We'll show you those later on. They all come almost as set menus, so they are ideal for group bookings. We can cater for, in the tea rooms at once, probably around 40 people having afternoon teas, and maybe a few more if you are having the bridge cream tea, as it doesn't take so much room up on the table. We are open from 10 o'clock in the morning until 4:30 for last orders, but we can be flexible with bookings. Normally start afternoon teas at 11:30, but can certainly start those earlier in the day if you wish. And here is the bridge tea rooms. Bradford Avon is perched on the edge of the Cotswolds, and it certainly looks like a very picturesque Cotswold building. In fact, most of the Cotswolds tourist information centres will feature the bridge tea rooms in all of their marketing. The ground floor was built in 1502, extended up in 1675, and if you look close enough at the inscription on the right-hand gable, you will see an inscription saying the initials of the original owners, Alison and Richard Halliday, and the year 1675. So it's a fantastic building. Looks like it's falling down. It isn't, in fact, thank goodness. And it is the perfect building to serve afternoon teas. Although most of its life, it was actually just a residential house until around the 1950s. And now I'll take you into the inside. And here is the first floor at a very quiet moment. So I thought I'd take the opportunity to show you our range of afternoon teas once I've done this panoramic view of the first floor, which can seat about 25 people. So we serve a lot of afternoon teas on stands, and the choice is, if we have a look at these, first of all, in the front there is the Bridge Cream Tea, which comes with 2 scones with jam and cream. And then on the left we have the Empress of India, which is a selection of finger sandwiches. All the finger sandwiches on these afternoon teas are the same. A scone with jam and cream, a little hazelnut meringue nest, and some little delicate pieces of fruit, including strawberries and apples. That's pretty much the same with all the afternoon teas. On the right, same selection of finger sandwiches. There's a delicious slice of coffee mullet on the Prince Albert afternoon tea. And at the back, this is the Empire High Tea, which consists of finger sandwiches, some delicate pieces of cake, including a small piece of Victoria sponge, hazelnut meringue chocolate cake, and a strawberry basket, and a scone with jam and cream at the top. Each of these is an afternoon tea for one, and of course you get your piping hot pot of loose leaf tea with each of those.
Thank you. That was good. That was, I'm reading the comments here. Everybody really wants to. This is everyone loves tea. So
Yes.
why don't we talk a little bit about this experience, Roy? So that would be great.
Well, the afternoon tea is more of sort of started off maybe sort of mid 18th century, and it was a way in which the posh people could have a light meal before going into the heavier evening dinner. So so they started having afternoon teas, and it is quite delicate, and it does consist mainly of cake and sandwiches and scones and that sort of thing. So normally, if you go to London, for instance, you could be paying a reasonable amount of money for an afternoon tea experience if you go to the Ritz or somewhere like that, and you would have a sort of limited choice. You'd have to have the high tea or the full afternoon tea, which could cost you 60-70 pounds. They're very good. I've been to a couple myself. What we recognise is perhaps people don't want to spend too much, especially if they come out of the centre, out of the capital, and perhaps they want a bit more of a choice when it comes to range of afternoon teas. So we do the Empire High Tea, which is what I call the works, and we do some mid-range afternoon teas as well. We don't quite have as much. You could have finger sandwiches and a cake and a scone, so it gives you a little bit more choice, and it's very good for the traveller who is going from one place to the next, where they want to spend perhaps a little bit less time. They still want something to eat and something to really appreciate, and that's why we sort of hit the sort of maybe a mid-range, slightly less expensive afternoon tea market, but at the same time ensuring that the quality is as good as we get it. So we've been doing this for 16 years now, and we think we've got it spot on at the moment. The building itself is fantastic. There's constantly people outside taking pictures, and I like to think once you come inside, you have this expectation of being in a nice place, and you come in and it feels like you're going back in time to the Victorian era. So we have 2 floors. Downstairs is more like a Victorian cottage, where you can imagine an old lady just doing a little bit of sewing. You come upstairs, which is the background, which I'm showing at the moment, and it's more of a sort of plush, fine dining eating experience. And we like to think everybody comes in, leaves with a great feeling. When they walk through the door originally, they go, "Wow, this is an amazing place." But everything's got to be good. We've got some fantastic waitresses as well. This one in particular, I'm certainly not biased, but it's my daughter who's been posing for the Great West Way as well. So all the decor, the music is Victorian, the decor is Victorian, and all the waitresses will wear Victorian maids outfits or waitresses outfits. So it's more of a maid outfit.
Right.
So everything comes together.
Right, and the other thing that I was thinking about before is just if anybody wants to experience this, if you have clients that would like to do this, just let us know within your request, and we'll send an email out to book a specific time to guarantee that your customers can just, that it's seamless.
Yes, absolutely. So we can tailor what people want really, because we do massive group bookings having afternoon tea, which would be more of a set menu, because we've got quite a small kitchen, but we can get quite a few afternoon teas at the same time. But if it's smaller groups, 6 or less, then we can do more of a tailored experience. So they can not necessarily have to choose their afternoon teas when they come in. They can choose from the menu. They probably got a greater range of teas as well, and they can pick and choose what they want. They have a mixture of different afternoon teas to be going on with.
Thanks, Roy. That was just a great part of this presentation. I'm sure that everybody appreciated it. I know that there are people here that we've got people that would love to come to see you. So again, thanks much. Johnny, let's move on to the next.
Yeah, we are now moving.
Yeah, this is a picture of the Roman baths in Bath, and I know we've had a bit of a focus on Bath today, and if you haven't already gathered, we're doing a bit of a food and drink special, but we have got Jules Mitra, who's with us from In and Beyond Bath, and I'm going to pass over to Jules, who can tell you a little bit about what he does, because he's a guided tour specialist, which might also be of interest to you.
Hi guys, I'm Jules Mitra. I'm the founder of In and Beyond Bath, as Flo just said, and we're a tour company that specialises in sharing the very best and breadth of our local area, in the kind of Bath area, in about an hour and a quarter, kind of in all directions from Bath. But rather than me tell you exactly what we do and how we do it right now, we've actually got a video which I'd love to share with you, if that's okay, which I think will do a better job than I can in this particular moment.
Thanks, Jules.
Hi, I'm Jules, and welcome to In and Beyond Bath, a very different kind of tour company. I founded In and Beyond Bath in 2016 to share with like-minded compatriots and travellers the England that I adore, revere, and had missed so much whilst I was away living in Africa. Our goal is to offer you a truly extraordinary, meaningful and personal experience of authentic England, going far beyond traditional touring to connect you with the very best and breadth of our region, sharing with you the incredible stories, places, people and experiences that make our history, culture, landscapes and architecture so rich, beguiling and unique. Our approach to touring compares with the way a gourmet chef prepares a tasting menu, or the way a director crafts a narrative, in contrast to the way tours are traditionally run. Each of our experiences is a lovingly crafted journey of discovery, sharing with you your must-sees, alongside our unsung hidden treasures, which we know will delight and surprise you, given at a relaxed pace and in an engaging and personal manner, as if you're with family or friends. Every aspect is carefully considered to ensure your time with us is special. Your convenience is our priority, so we include all costs where appropriate, so you don't have to worry about hassles like entrances, finding the best dining spots, or even where to meet us. We meet you at your door, and we travel in luxurious, environmentally friendly vehicles, so that you can get off the beaten track to explore the backroads and stunning countryside in comfort, and encountering fascinating sights, anecdotes and insights. So, if you're looking to go a little bit deeper and explore authentic England for yourself, do come and join us for a truly unforgettable experience.
Great. Jules, welcome. I love that. I love that video. It was just wonderful. And I understand that you were out today, busy.
Yeah, I do. Two things I had to apologize for. First, the copious amount of hair in that video that was taken during lockdown, where I just stopped caring.
Nobody cared. Trust me, nobody cared. Nobody cared.
And no, I've just got back. I did a tour, actually, what we call a transfer tour, from Bath to Oxford. One of the things we do is, one of the things I think is a crying shame a lot of the time is people transfer from place to place, missing out a huge amount in between. And so we often do what we call transfer tours, which is, we've got people today that wanted to get to Oxford, and so I spent the entire day from 8:30 till 3:30. Well, actually ended up being close to 4, actually, dropping them off in Oxford and showing them some of the best of the Cotswolds, including some of the most remarkable hidden gems, unseen, places, tiny little back roads, just extraordinary stuff. And making that a leisurely experience where they end up in place B, having had an amazing day as well. So
I think that when Flo and I were first starting this conversation about doing this, it was really what you do is exactly what we believed is the right thing, and it's really just not about getting from A to B, but it's a shame if you miss everything in between those. The journey is really from A to Z, not from A to B.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so many things to see. It's, at the end of the day, it's really, highways are the worst things in the world, in my view, right? It helps us get from one place to another quickly, but there's so much that we miss, not just from sights to see, but people to meet, and these experiences that are just so wonderful. And that's really what our goal is as a company. And when you and I met, and when Flo and I started talking about this journey, it's really, that's what it is. It's Absolutely. An adventure, right? It's
And can I say, I mean, one of the things I realized, Tom, because I started my business, I'm a former history and politics teacher who came into this industry about 5-6 years ago because I wanted to get out of education, but also follow my passion, which is travel. And one of the things I've realized in my own travel experience, and I started traveling, I did my first long haul flight age 3 from the UK to Malaysia for my auntie's wedding. Turned up, this strange country where people looked different, it smelled different, there was heat hit me, and I've been fascinated with travel ever since. And what I've realized as I've got older is that I go for the big stuff. There's something compelling pulls me somewhere. So it's either a great, iconic location, attraction, natural wonder. It might even be family or friends. Or when I was a teacher, I used to teach a lot about certain places, and because I became so familiar with them, I wanted to go and see them. But the things that I go for are really the things that have the impact. They're really the things that blow me away because I know what I'm expecting, number one. But also not just that, the places that we've all heard of now, with mass tourism, they're commercialized. You can't spend the same time that you might once have done in isolation, reflecting, pondering, imagining in quite the same way in the places that have global resonance. So what I've noticed in my own travels is I go for the big stuff, but it's the small things that have the impact. It's the journeys that I kind of turn up somewhere like, I wouldn't even know this existed, and wow, this is amazing. Or I can remember sitting on the Isla del Sol in Peru many years ago, where supposedly the sun was hewn out of a piece of rock and thrown into the sky to make the sun. And I'm looking at this piece of rock and I'm thinking, it's 30 foot high. I don't think that's going to really do it, frankly. But I'm standing in an ancient Peruvian, Incan settlement near this sacrificial altar, just imagining that space. And it's those kind of experiences, it's those kind of relationships that you make, or I feel that I've found along the way, which I couldn't have anticipated, I couldn't have known before I went there, that have the magic.
That's how it should be.
And that's what we do.
It's a good segue, I think, to the next piece that you've that was put together. If anybody wants to reach out to you, just contact us. If any of you guys, again, we've got somebody who got their mic not off. both. Johnny, if you could find out who it is, and if you could turn everybody's mics off, and we can go on to the next segment, that would be great.
Yeah, and to back up what you're saying, Tom, I mean, again, for me, what we try and do with my approach is we combine our who our guests are, who our clients are, who are they, what's their background, what they're interested in, what their must-sees, and we combine that with our passion and knowledge for our local area to share with them the places that they wouldn't even know to ask for, which we just know will completely smash their expectations and delight them, and leaving them with those kind of relationship, those memories.
That's the goal always, right?
That's the goal.
To exceed expectations.
Yeah. And if you want an example of kind of like some of the smaller things that we share, his little space, that's only a few miles away from me right now. But for me, it's magical.
Let's Johnny go for it.
I am in the Southern Cotswolds, one of the most stunning parts of the Great West Way. But behind me is one of my favourite hidden gems, Malmesbury, the oldest borough in England, founded by Alfred the Great in the late 800s. But I'm not in Malmesbury. I'm at a tiny
Johnny, I'm sorry. Can you pause this for a second? It's just too good to not see it without what we have going on behind us. So maybe Johnny, if you shut everybody's speakers off, mics off.
Okay, this is Mike, please. Look at.
Great. Sorry, everybody.
Is a really fascinating story, which really connects with the story of America. So come follow me. This is All Saints Church. Come have a look inside. This is the memorial to Sir Lawrence Washington, who died in 1643 in the English Civil War. But I'm not here to talk about him. I'm much more interested in his coat of arms. Now, if you look at the left-hand side of the coat of arms, you may recognize a lot of familiar symbols and colors that feature in a very similar and familiar symbol. This is the coat of arms of the Washingtons who ended up going and settling in America. And so when the British became too oppressive and the colonials in the colonies decided to rise up against the tyranny of the British king, they decided they had to fight under a new banner. But what should that banner be? They had no idea. So they chose the coat of arms of the man, George Washington, who's going to lead their men against this British tyranny as the basis for their own Stars and Stripes, the Stars and Stripes that you and I know. And that is probably the most iconic and recognizable flag in the world. And here is its basis hidden in a tiny little church in the middle of the Cotswolds.
So, Jules, thanks. Clearly you are history is so important to you, and in fact to me as well, and to many of the agents that we have here. And it's experiences like this that make the difference.
Absolutely. And can I just say that, I mean, for me, as a history teacher, right, that's my background, a history and politics teacher. And I used to think, if I've got kids in front of me, why are they learning about this? What's the significance? What's the meaning for them? How is this going to have meaning, relevance to them? So, that's one of the things which I'm passionate about, and my team are passionate about in sharing places. We want to take people to places where they're going to connect. It's going to have significance and meaning. And actually, those kinds of words are the words which it's all about from us. So one of the things we have an awful lot is we have people that will say, listen, we've got people that and we'll go here. And I'll be like, that's great. That can be done, not with us. Because actually we want to take people on a journey, and that journey is about discovery. It's relational as well. We it's about building that connection and sharing that experience together, and connecting with our clients on a very kind of reciprocal way, actually. But it's all about taking people into these places, because I think one of the privileges I have as a historian is I can walk into anywhere in the UK and I can decode, I can see the buildings, I can see the heritage of this town, or what that building might have been over there, or I can understand the significance of this particular event and fit it in that timeline. And that's the magic. That's the stuff we share. But it's, again, it's places like this where I've taken people to this church before, and I'm saying, we're just going to go see a little church in the Cotswolds. It's just over here. It's a beautiful little church. And of course, it's beautiful. It's in a great location. But what has the power? It's the story. It's the meaning. It's the significance. And that, to me, is what makes what we do so special. And, you know, we're very lucky. I have every day we have people say, this is the most amazing travel experience I've ever had. And I'm like, well, on this trip? And they're like, no, ever. And I'm like, brilliant. I've had people crying, you know, tears of joy. And it's a wonderful experience to be part of that. But it's because we know what matters. And what matters is not how much you see. It's not how shiny it is or how far you go or how many places you hit. It's that journey. It's connecting. And that's what's magical.
So thanks, Jules. Johnny, we're going to move on to the next. I appreciate, Jules. Thank you very much. If anybody
be here.
Reaches out, if there's any questions afterwards, I'll send you a link and we can we can answer whatever anybody has questions about. So Johnny, next. All I can say is cheers, everybody.
Cheers, everybody.
That was wonderful. I hope everybody enjoyed that short video. So I'm gonna introduce you to Sam. Sam is right. Oh, there you are, Sam. How are you?
Hi, everyone. I'm very well. How are you, Tom?
Yeah, just wonderful, just great. Enjoying your Bombay Sapphire.
Always, yeah, as you are. Hopefully I'll give everyone a little taste of cocktail making today with a little demonstration. And I'll give you a little bit more context as to what we do at the Bombay Sapphire Distillery. I'm actually here in the Blue Room, which is one of our spaces, the VIP bar, which is behind me. Plenty of Bombay Sapphire to go around. The River Test is running beneath my feet. And the sun's about to set over the glass houses. You can see them just behind Flo as her backdrop. So I'm looking at the same setting now. So yeah, welcome. Here at Laverstoke, we're in kind of the the northern part of Hampshire, just on the sort of southern edge of the Great West Way. And yeah, we make every single drop of Bombay Sapphire gin. So if you're drinking a bottle, Tom, it's been made by our team, our small team of distillers here at Laverstoke Mill.
So I have to just, you know, I noticed someone was smelling it. What are the, you know, what am I smelling?
So Bombay Sapphire's got 10 botanicals. Juniper's the predominant ingredient by law, actually. Bombay Sapphire's a London dry gin, and quite often a misconception is that has to be made and produced in London. Actually, London dry gin just means that nothing is added except for water after distillation. So we distill the gin, it comes out quite strong at about 83% ABV, or what's that, 160, 170 proof. And then all we add is water. So no flavorings, no sweeteners. So that's the definition of a London dry gin.
Yeah, there's so many choices to gin. Bombay definitely is one of my favorites.
Yeah. It's a really versatile gin as well. It's got quite a light flavor profile. A lot of gins, which, you know, whatever takes your fancy with gin, it's whatever you like to drink. But Bombay Sapphire is quite versatile for cocktail making, great in a classic gin and tonic. I'll just make a note because there's some questions. I've got my colleague Georgia here who will fire away at any answers to questions in the chat. So please keep them coming. You won't distract me too much. I'm going to try and multitask and make a cocktail while I'm talking.
Let's go.
So
after this, we're going to go visit a beautiful hotel. So
yep, I'll be quick. So just in terms of the mill, Laverstoke Mill dates back, the earliest recording is 900 AD, referenced in the Domesday Book. So a lot of history here, probably some that we don't know about because it's from before that time. And it was a paper mill for Portals paper making. So in the British Empire, they made paper for the Raj and the British Empire, so Indian banknote paper. And yeah, so we're kind of sat on the River Test, which is a site of special scientific interest. We've had 4 royal visits, including the late Queen Elizabeth in 1962, I think. So yeah, it's steeped in history. There's buildings as old as sort of, you know, 1000, 1600. There's a few buildings here, and it's been really sympathetically restored. So yeah, I'm going to dive into a little bit of cocktail making. Quick fire. George is going to pop a link to the recipe so you can have a little go at home. So I've got a couple of lime wedges squeezed into the glass just there. I'm going to add, of course, Bombay Sapphire, and I had to teach myself to convert everything into fluid ounces for our audience today. So I'm going to go for it. We've got 2 ounces of Bombay Sapphire going in. We've then got some Martini Bianco, which is a nice sweet vermouth, and we're going to go in with ½ ounce of Martini.
Beautiful. You have a name for this?
Yep.
You have a name for this drink?
This is called the Laverstoke. So it's our signature cocktail, named after the distillery when we opened the doors in 2014. And it's, again, a really refreshing, nice summer drink. We've got Saint-Germain, which is an elderflower liqueur. So that's a really beautiful addition. And then we're going to give that a little swirl to mix it up, add some ice. And again, we're going to fill it right to the top. Don't worry about dilution. The more ice, the less dilution, because it keeps the cold in the drink rather than letting the ice melt. We then go in with some ginger ale, not ginger beer, very different drinks. And I'm going to try a little bar trick here, which I'm sure George is delighted to watch me try over in the wings. But I've just placed the bar spoon over the top of the spoon. I'm going to pour it down the bar spoon. And that helps to retain the fizz, the effervescence in the ginger ale when it reaches the cocktail. So I'm going to put about 4 ounces of ginger ale in there just to top it up. Give it a little stir. We go in with a piece of fresh ginger, snap that over the top.
Wow, that's cool.
I always wondered what those spoons were for. Now I know.
The most used bar equipment you can find. And then we've got a lovely sprig of fresh mint. And the trick with mint is to give it a little slap. There's some hair follicles on the mint that wake up when you give it a spank, as we say. It's after 5 o'clock, so I can get away with that. And we'll put that in. And the reason the garnish is so important is, you know, 90% of what you taste is from your smell. So I'm going to raise a glass to Tom, your gin and tonic. I'm sure it's delicious.
It is.
A ready to drink can that Flo's got. Cheers to everyone. Cheers to GT Experiences for a brilliant webinar.
Cheers.
And yeah, in terms of the distillery, we've got a range of different experiences that start from sort of, you know, £20 for a tour. All of our tours are fully guided. Our tour guides will go into the history of the mill a little bit, but also the production side. We're about less than an hour from London on the train. We're about just over maybe 30 to 40 minutes from Stonehenge. So we're kind of quite central in the Great West Way, I'd say. Newbury's kind of probably our closest town, which is again beautiful with the I think it's the Kennet and Avon Canal that runs through there. So yeah, we've got a range of experiences. We've just released 3 new ones.
And Sam, one question I have is generally how long is the experience?
Yeah, so as standard, it's about an hour and a half for our standard tour. Every tour gets a gin and tonic, obviously, it would be rude not to. So you get to start your tour with a gin and tonic. We've then got a cinema room where we give you a little bit about the brand and the history of Bombay Sapphire. And we take you through our production site. So you see those big copper stills where Bombay Sapphire is distilled. We've got a cafe on site, which can sit sort of 30 to 40 people at any one time. We've got coach parking. We've got 80 spaces in the car park. We've got a bar. We've got a gin shop.
Sounds perfect. Sounds perfect. Yeah. It's exactly what everyone is looking for. So a wonderful experience, something that's fun and you know, and tastes very good at the same time.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And I guess just the most important note is we're open for public tours Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But we do invite private tours and groups during the week as well on inquiry. So 7 days a week availability, subject to availability. And, you know, we very rarely say no. You know, if we're kind of limited by your imagination in terms of what kind of experiences and how long you've got. So the hour and a half is more of a guideline. Sometimes we get groups or visits in which only need a shorter amount of time, and we can adapt to that. Similarly, we've got 5 or 6 hour experiences if you really want to go all out.
Oh, thanks, Sam. So
thanks,
Flo,
Sam. We move on. Let's move on to Whatley, because Eloise is our sales and marketing manager at Whatley Manor. It is going to tell us all about this fabulous accommodation which you can stay at when you're visiting the route. So over to Eloise.
Beautiful 5-star accommodations. Eloise, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. And thank you, Sam. I guess we're a member of POB Hotels, and we are. You could definitely go to Bombay Sapphire and come back to Whatley Manor. The nearest POB hotel to Sam and Bombay Sapphire is actually called the Vineyard. They major on wines. I would say we've got a spa and we major on food. So as well as beautiful gardens, and we're located in the Cotswolds. But let's start to play the video.
Eloise, we can't do food without drink and a beautiful place. So it's perfect. Fits perfectly.
So we've actually got Gusbourne here this evening, and it's English Wine Week. So we serve the sparkling English wine. It's our house pour. So we major on sustainability.
Manor Hotel and Spa. We are a country manor house situated in the beautiful Cotswolds with 23 bedrooms, a lovely relaxing spa, a Michelin star restaurant and Gray's restaurant. Welcome.
Whatley Manor is. So as I was just saying, we're a member of POB Hotels, and that's a collection of just over 50 hotels in the UK. And we've been a member now for 4 years. And I do encourage you to go and have a look at pobhotels.com.
A 1920s hunting lodge. Mr. Bertie Cox and his wife lived here for 6 months of the year, and for the rest of the year they lived in Canada. And now we have 23 bedrooms, we have 12 acres of English country gardens, and we have a beautiful garden that has a art sculpture by Simon Allison. Let's take a look. So we're on our way to the Loggia Garden now with the water sculpture by Simon Allison.
So we have barbecues in here and weddings and events sometimes, and it's also just lovely to sit in.
There are different types of roses growing here and beautiful colours. So come May, the end of May, early June, it's really, really going to come into its own. There's 2 little summer houses, and we're just going to go in and have a little look at this one.
So this is where you have your gin and tonic and read a book.
Sounds perfect.
So this is me talking about sustainability here. So we're on a real trajectory. We're a business transitioning to net zero emissions, and some of the things that we've done is we're Silver Earth Check, so we have an audit every year. I've just been on a training with our general manager. Every member of the team is trained in the terminology around the environmental social governance and where we are with the Sustainable Development Goals, which are agreed in the Paris Agreement. So we've got rid of single-use plastic in the rooms, and we have these lovely Molton Brown ceramic containers that we put all of our amenities in, and the guests really like them as well. And in fact, they're available to buy from the boutique.
Each one is completely individual. We are in room 7 now. It has a bathroom with a separate bath and a shower. In fact, there's only one room that has just a shower, and there's another room with a shower over the bath. The room with just a shower is an accessible room. It is on the top floor and it's accessed via a lift. What I really like about room 7 is it's spacious for a classic room, and also you've got a view out onto the Knott Garden.
Here we are in Deluxe Suite 24. We have 2 deluxe suites at Whatley Manor. 24 is situated in the main house, and Deluxe Suite 1 has its own private entrance and is situated in the courtyard. Both deluxe suites are ideal if you're staying for longer or simply because you want pure luxury. So definitely a lot of space in that room. That's why I was echoing. The drawing room at Whatley Manor. It's here where we serve afternoon tea, where our guests come down for pre-dinner drinks and peruse the menu before starting their Michelin-starred experience in the dining room, or maybe decide to eat in Gray's, our less formal restaurant. The drawing room at Whatley Manor is oak panelled, as you can see, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, it's rather glorious.
And Eloise, it's a Michelin.
This is a Michelin star restaurant. We've got 2 restaurants, Gray's and
in Gray's restaurant, and we're preparing for this evening's dinner service. We also serve lunch here, and when the weather is fine, we offer the courtyard terrace and also the kitchen garden. We're going to go into the kitchen garden in a minute, so you get to see that. So this is our less formal restaurant.
What's the name of your more formal restaurant?
The dining room.
Garden at Whatley Manor. We harvest lettuces. We've got a good crop of garlic, which we planted in October last year. We've got chives, we've got English chard, and this wonderful willow. This is our willow structure, and the sweet peas will start to grow over in the next month or so. And of course, we've got our olive tree that's been here for coming up to 20 years, 22 years actually in July. So Whatley Manor opened up in July 2003, and it will be our 20th anniversary on the 1st of July. So back to the kitchen garden. There's no pesticides used in the kitchen garden at all, and it is a no-dig kitchen garden. I think that you'll agree, it's quite fine.
So we had an olive oil tasting here today, so that's another experience one of the guests can have. And we're now moving over to the spa. So this is my beautiful colleague Sophie, and we do spa brands, Gaia, completely natural, and Sotis, which is a French skincare brand. They have a beauty institute on the Rue de Faubourg in Paris, and they're very sustainable in terms of their packaging and how they approach their business model. So we just felt that it was, and they also have a spa out in Corriette in France, and they've got a beautiful kitchen garden. So their treatments are very sensorial and very pampering, and we just wanted to have a brand that would take guests on a journey even when they're in the treatment room. So you could be exported to Provence or Morocco, and here you're just sat in the beautiful space of the spa terrace with nature, whilst enjoying the hydrotherapy pool and easing out all those aches and tensions from traveling.
Can you book me into a massage in the next 15-20 minutes, please? It's so beautiful.
We do our best. On tops of shoulders. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Oh God, it was just so beautiful. Thank you very much. I'm ready. I'm ready now. I'm sure that all of us are wanting to go there. So I think that we've reached the end of our webinar. So thank you, Eloise. This was just wonderful. Flo, is there anything? This is the end of our third webinar for the great.
I know. I feel like I'm going to miss you. I haven't, we've covered so much, haven't we, in terms of the waterways, the food and drink, the history and heritage. We've covered so much along the Great West Way, and I just hope that everybody who's listening, all the agents there are if they've seen something from these webinars that they think their clients would be interested in, please do get in touch with Tom and his team who can package something up for you. He'll get in contact with me and our supplier network, and we can pull amazing itineraries together for you guys. So that's what we aim to do. And if you need any further information about the route or the geography or the content that you've seen,
or whatever you've seen,
anything you need, then have a look at greatwestway.co.uk. It's got everything. We've even got a rough guide to the Great West Way, and we've got
just if you don't remember any of that, just reach out to us. It's easy enough.
Yeah, of course. Tom will sort that out as well. But if you just needed a reference, then it's
absolutely.
all online.
So again, I want to say thank you. Keep an eye out over the next few days for that questionnaire. Cheers, everybody. So I want to just say thanks again. Is it just a pleasure having everybody join, and we'll see you shortly in other webinars. We'll keep you posted. Flo and I are about to work on a bunch of other things. So thanks again.
We'll see you
everybody.
again soon. Thank you very much, everybody.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.